Back with another lists reacts video. Gonna be commenting more on some Anne Lindwasser lists, but I think that's only because she's the only person that writes the lists for this website, man. All the lists have her name under them. This list right here is a list of 15 underrated shonen anime you should check out. Oh, once again, this is just gonna be my opinion versus her opinion, or really the opinion of an aggregate of people, since people vote on this, and it's probably not her direct opinion. For all I know, this person doesn't even watch anime. But for a quick definition, shonen means any series aimed at boys, typically those under the age of 15. Yeah, so that's me. I'm about twice the age of 15. That's like, it means it's twice the amount for me, right? So let's see. Underrated shonen anime you should check out. Tekayo Hitman Reborn. I mean, if you were back in the 2000s and you were looking for a shonen, then yeah, I would say watch Tekayo Hitman Reborn. Just skip the first like 10 episodes because they're fucking dumb and he's always in his underwear and it's stupid. But in this day and age, I feel like there's just better shonen out there. You just get shonen of better action. Why would you choose to watch this? Like, it's not underrated. It's very much correctly rated. C tier. Shaman King, not worth watching. The reboot of Shaman King, extra not worth watching. I have fond memories for Shaman King as a child and it being on TV, but having watched like the newer series that recently came out, I'm assuming I just had nostalgia goggles on, because that newer series is goddamn awful, and it doesn't even have a cool intro song. At least this one had a cool American intro song. That shit was awesome. Go look it up. The Shaman King intro, OP in English, yeah, like for the original one. Ushio Antora, definitely not worth watching. Like, I dropped this show like 16 episodes in because I was like, this show is trying to be too 90s. Like, you're in like the 2020s. Why are you trying to be a 90s show? You should have updated animation. You should have updated graphics. You should have updated cool shit happening. Not try and make your show look like Inuyasha. That doesn't make any sense. The Law of Ueki, also not underrated. I don't know what people rate the Law of Ueki, but they just shouldn't have rated it. Like, people watch the Law of Ueki, and the Law of Ueki is fine. C tier, middle of meh tier, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. I've never seen an anime, like, use so many friendship speeches as Law of Ueki. Like, it was almost impressive. Like, I've watched Naruto and shit, but I remember Law of Ueki having like a friendship speech every episode. Maybe that's exaggeration, but like, I remember it being that way. But essentially, this guy has the ability to turn trash into trees, and everyone in the show has the ability to turn like X into Y or X into Z to some degree. And they have to fight in a tournament for whatever reason. Oh, here it is. To earn the title of Celestial King, which means nothing, I'm sure. But after a few battles and a billion friendship speeches later, they make the bad guy their friend too, I think. Anyway, Law of Ueki, yeah, it's not worth watching, honestly, at this point in history. Nabaru no U is goddamn awful. What the fuck? This is not underrated. If it has the rating, then it's overrated because it should be rated terrible. Nabaru no U pretends it's like a ninja anime, and I remember at the time I was looking for ninja anime because I was like, there must be other good ninja anime out there that aren't Naruto. And I found this show, and this show has like a deceptively decent first episode that just, and then just nothing fun ever happens again after. It turns out it's more about like these two teenagers. He's like 13, he's like 16, and they're just trying to be gay with each other, and nothing against gay people, but that's what this show's about. It's not about ninjas. It's about these two young adults being gay for each other. Also, there's an adult teacher who's also a little gay for the boy, which is, you know, anime levels of problematic. So, depending on how much you're aware of anime, you're just gonna find it normal. It's like, yeah, of course the teacher wants to fuck his student. Why wouldn't he? And of course the student wants to fuck his teacher. Why wouldn't he? But like, slightly problematic. But overall, it's a boring show more than anything. Like, these ninjas suck. They don't do anything ninja-esque except for be shitty. Anyway, D. Greyman is fine. Not super worth watching. It's probably rated fine. I feel people rate it as fine as well. I remember when I was watching it back in the day, I remember like the middle, it's like 75 episodes long, and I remember like the middle 25 episodes being like a bit boring, and being like considering dropping it a bunch during those episodes, but it picks back up towards the end. I think the real problem with D. Greyman these days is that, like, yeah, the anime's fine, but obviously it doesn't have a real ending because it just ends at some point, whereas the manga has never ended and probably will never end, and also has gotten completely crazy, so maybe it's not worth ending. But that's the Gray Man for you. I don't know what Hikaru no Go is, but it looks like it's from the 90s or early 2000s. It kind of looks like it has like a Digimon or Metabots or Pokemon. I don't know what Karakuri Circus is, but look at that hair. Look at that hair and this outfit. This could be anything. I think I remember this coming out and didn't watch it because it looked like this, but maybe it's good. I don't fucking know. Silver Spoon, something about farming. I imagine it's very properly rated. Had definitely an anime about farming that's a shonen for young boys is not going to do amazing. It's definitely going to have a niche audience. I don't know what you could expect from it. Apparently it's by the person who created Full Metal Alchemist. Would you look at that? But that doesn't necessarily mean anything because it's about farming. It was always going to be niche. I don't know what this is. Muyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigations. I have no fucking clue, to the point like I've never even seen this art, which are like these characters' art style. Like this could be anything. I don't know what this is. I imagine it's correctly rated too because it's old and is about cooking. I don't really know what this is either, but I also doubt that it's a shonen based on this picture and its title. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's great. I wouldn't know. Pass. Beck Mongolian Chop Squad was boring in the days I watched it when I was a young man, and it's probably boring now, so hard disagree on Beck. I don't think it's for everyone. I think it's for maybe Japanese people, but probably no one. Beat the Vandalbuster. Whoa, what a deep cut. Who fucking talks about Beat the Vandalbuster? No, get out here. Beat the Vandalbuster is an old shonen, and it's totally fine if you have the patience for older shows. It's totally fine. Totally works. The second season is fucking awful. It's shockingly awful, and they introduce a new character, and that new character sucks and is a big crybaby, and there's like no more interesting villains in the second season. But the first season totally works. It's an interesting enough world, the magic systems, weapons. It works, man. I don't know what GGG no Kitaro is. Something about, I don't know, demon hunting or whatever. But that's this list. So 14 anime you either love or hate is the next list here. So this is more about being very not decisive, very split opinions, right? Sword Art Online, yeah, people love or hate it. I think people are too hard on it. It's definitely fine. Kill la Kill, yeah, I can see most people love or hate it. I just think it's fine as well, you know. Actually, I imagine most people just like this. I don't think it's super divisive. It's very much like fan service, the anime, but fan service is more than just fan service. It's also the plot, like actually, not in the meme sense of the word where tits are the plot. Like no, like fan service is the plot. Being naked is story relevant to this show. So like it's hard to call it just fan service. Naruto is fine. I don't think it's as divisive as many people say. I think more people like Naruto than anything. I don't think it's a love-hate thing. I think a lot of people just aren't crazy about shonen, and also there's a lot of people like me that like understand at this point that like half of Naruto is fillers, and then like towards the back half of Naruto, at least the anime, in the anime half of it's fillers, but at least the back half of Naruto, even in the manga, is a little bit crazy. Not the back half, like the last arc is a little bit crazy, but like if you're gonna judge a whole anime just by its last arc, a whole manga just by its like last arc, that's kind of rough. Like you're saying 80% of it's good, 20%'s a little mediocre, so the show is shit or the manga is shit. Like that's rough. Attack on Titan, I feel like most people just like Attack on Titan right now too. Obviously, you have a vocal minority these days that hate Attack on Titan, or have always hated Attack on. There's always been a vocal minority that hates Attack on Titan, but now since Attack on Titan's ended, there's a vocal minority that now claim that Attack on Titan has always been shit because they don't like the anime, don't like the anime ending, and I don't, or the manga ending rather, and I don't really understand why they don't like the manga ending. Like it's totally fine in my opinion. I've seen lots of people call it bad, but I've never seen anyone explain why they think it's bad. And spoiler incoming, and this has been a fucking spoilerific reacts list anyway, but Uh, the one time I've seen someone actually try and explain why they don't like the ending was because they're like, oh, isn't it dumb that Aaron is the cause of everything? Or what, he really caused everything? He's some sort of time god? And I'm like, no, that's a misunderstanding. If anyone really started everything, it's Ymir. Ymir is the person who even created the Attack Titan, who allows the Attack Titan to exist, whose clear purpose is to try and end the cycle of things. Like, without Ymir creating the Attack Titan, Aaron could have never have done this. Like, this is all based on Ymir's subconscious, like, will to free herself and her children from this cycle of violence. But she's just having such a hard time because she actually loved the king so much, and now like all these people are her people, and she has so much respect for that like royal family. So if anything, Ymir started everything, not Aaron. So if that's your only reason for disliking the show, that's a weird one, because it's a little bit wrong. If you want to dislike the show for Ymir starting everything, well then that's also a little bit wrong, because she's like the basis of the whole show, and you didn't dislike her before you found out like the end. I don't know. I think people, at least I haven't seen any good reasons for disliking the Attack on Titan ending. If you don't like Attack on Titan, that's fine. Do you? Who gives a shit? But like, people just calling it shit to call it shit. It's like, why? Is it? At least tell me why. Explain why. One Piece's fine. Is it divisive? I feel like the sales of it say it's not divisive at all. I think it says that people like it. Other people won't watch it because it's too long at this point. I think it's mostly okay, though it really has drawn out stuff too long. It's like when a One Piece Kai comes out, it's gonna be like 200 episodes, despite the show ending at like 1600 episodes. It's really gonna have to cut out a lot of just characters, like 25 characters at a time, just yelling out the name Luffy one by one. For some reason, it takes each of them 5 seconds. Luffy! 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 Like, it's just 25 characters calling out the name Luffy, and that's like half your episode. Like, that's just too much, man. This show just wastes too much time. Like, way worse than DBZ ever wasted, because DBZ isn't as long. Sure, there's episodes of just people going like, ah, and yelling, but this is just episodes and episodes of nothing happening, and them repeating information that's happened last episode, and doing flashbacks to stuff that happened in the exact same episode you're watching now. It's absolutely crazy how much time One Piece wastes. Yeah, people are very divided on this. This is really one you either love or hate. I'm on the hated cat side, but I get it. This is really a love or hate it kind of anime. This must be talking about the original, because everyone kind of likes Brotherhood. I don't know, man. I feel like most people just hate this. I can't imagine people that like it, like love it so much like it's the best show ever. I'm sure they just like it, but I feel like most people really don't like this show because it's fucking weird and ends kind of dumb. I don't know. I thought this show was fine. By fine, I mean, I thought the people were fine with it. I haven't seen this or read this, so I couldn't tell you. But comedies are usually divisive because what one person finds funny, someone else just won't find funny, especially if you're from different cultures and stuff. Like, even if you look at movies, movies like almost always have like a 50 to 60% like approval rating, because that's just the nature of comedy for you. In fact, like, if you go into a comedy and you're in a bad mood, you're just not going to find it funny. Maybe on a different day you would find it funny. That's just, like I said, the nature of comedy. I haven't really seen any Monogatari. I remember seeing one of something Monogatari or whatever, maybe a different one than this, but I remember seeing like it was like a multimedia thing, and there was like different kinds of art styles going on. But I also just remember that they didn't give their main character a shadow, and that upset me. I was like, what the fuck? Why don't you give your character a shadow when they're walking? That just makes your shit look wrong. Just like basic level art, give your character a shadow to make them look grounded, else they look like they're fucking floating or gliding, or they don't exist. Very odd. But who knows? I didn't really watch more than that one episode, because that one episode upset me a little bit. Dragon Ball Z, I don't feel as divisive. I feel like if you were a 90s kid, you love Dragon Ball Z. That's all it is to it. Everyone else has like not watched Dragon Ball Z. Death Note I also don't think is divisive. I think most people like Death Note, except for like maybe the last 6 episodes, when, spoilers, this fucker dies, because he was like the best antagonist, and the ones that replaced him weren't that interesting. So, but that's like I said, like the last 6 episodes of like a 30-something episode anime. It's totally fine. I think most people are like this. I don't think it's that divisive. School Days, I did not watch, but I do remember the drama of it, and I think most people disliked the ending. And honestly, it's a dumb harem show. I don't know why people liked it at the beginning at all. Probably because this guy was getting a lot of poon. And that's what people like to see in these kind of shows. They like to see the hot, steamy love affairs, I guess. But then the ending happened, and a lot of people didn't like that. So I don't know if this is really a love it or hate it show. It seemed like most people dislike it. I did not watch this. I imagine this is very divisive because it's going to be like a crude show of this kind of style, right? So can't be for everyone. No idea what Flowers of Evil is. Something rotoscoping. It looks kind of ugly. Looks like it can be rotoscoped. I believe it. I believe this is divisive. Probably just the ugly nature of rotoscope, which is okay. It's not ugly by nature, but a lot of people fuck it up, and it could be hard to adjust your eyes to it, especially if you're someone who's not used to watching a rotoscope thing, or someone who's too used to watching anime. It could just look weird to you. But that's this list, really. So I don't know. I feel like I hard disagreed on some of this stuff. Let's go to this. The 16 best anime about slaying monsters. Whoa. Look at this cool gorilla. I like him. He's like a Digimon type of gorilla. He'd name it would be like Cyber Gorillamon, because that's how Digimon name shit. You don't have to be super creative with it. Just add like what it is and Mon at the end, like a Jamaican. The Cyber Gorillamon. Let me drink something. Yeah, Demon Slayer. That's a good anime about slaying monsters. The monsters tend to have interesting abilities that the character has to kind of navigate around too. Like I really like the battle with the guy who puts like arrows that send you in directions. Like that was pretty cool. Remind me a bit of a Medusa from Soul Eater. In fact, I'm just a little surprised that guy didn't use any like techniques like that, like put an arrow that just shoots himself forward kind of thing. Or maybe he did. Maybe I just don't remember properly. But Demon Slayer, yeah, really good. Yeah, good anime about slaying monsters. Yeah, for sure. Jujutsu Kaisen? Yeah, sure, count it. Gets better as it gets on. It's a kind of unoriginal show, but it's definitely fun. Got one of the funnest fight scenes I'd seen of that season, with the guy who claps and teleports all over the place. Yeah, that was good shit right there. Rising of the Shield Heroes is, I guess, technically about slaying monsters. I mean, tangentially, it's an isekai, and there's fantasy monsters in the isekai worlds that sometimes need to be defeated. It's more about stopping the waves, or I don't know, it's more about like generic isekai stuff. It's like a video game. Is this really about slaying monsters? I mean, it's fine. Yeah, sure. Rising of the Hero. Rising of the Shield Hero. Yep, sure. It's fine. Watch it. Attack on Titan. Yeah. Attack on Titan. Yep. Do it. Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? Yeah, probably. Also, I just couldn't take this show. I like the world they set up. I like the power systems that they set up, despite this character being Mary Sue and a half. But in practice, it's just a harem show. It's just a silly harem show that could be better. So, would recommend? No, I would not. Goblin Slayer? Yeah, Goblin Slayer is good. Goblin Slayer gets a lot of flack for its first episodes and for making the goblins out. Not making the goblins out. Like, there's a few rapey scenes in there, and it's questionable if they need to be that graphic considering what the rest of the show is, and it's usually not that graphic, and they were just using it kind of like girl in the fridge storytelling, which is when you use tragic things happening to women to like really just explains like the danger of the world or how dangerous the enemy is, and kind of the woman is unimportant, like she's just a tool in the storytelling. So it's kind of classic that shit. But if you look past like the first episode of it and the fact that this is just like a dark world, it is a fun series. Like the brain character isn't an OP dude. He has to really think his way through dealing with goblins, which aren't even like the strongest villains in this world, but they are fucking assholes that do fuck up shit, and he has to deal with it. So, would recommend. I'd watch more Goblin Slayer if they came up another season too. The Roro starts off pretty good and kind of peters out towards the end, and kind of has a bit of a shitty last like 6 to 8 episodes, which is almost half the show. So, not really a recommend on Dororo. Kind of shame though. Almost had it. It was almost good, but no, it doesn't work in the end. Hellsing is bad. Hellsing is not a great show. Hellsing is not even really about monster slaying. He fights vampires, and yeah, vampires are monsters, I guess, but we don't really consider them monsters in the same way we consider all these other kind of demons and shit. But even the fighting is just like not good. It's like you would see this guy standing here and like a dog, and then you would see some black silhouettes, and then like the next guy would be dead, and that's the fight scene. That's like every fight scene in this entire show. And then they'll do a big stupid grin, like big face into the camera, and that's it. That's the show. People love it. It's like 11-12 episodes of just that. Just you look at a guy, then you see some wires, then you see a silhouette, and then that silhouette rips apart, still a silhouette, and then the fight's over. That's just it. Great. Hellsing is great for that. Great for not seeing anything except for stupid people smiling. Noragami is, I don't know, it's so generic. I feel like, is this show really worth anything? Like, I don't feel like anything happens so special in the show that other people should watch it. There's this guy, there's some sad boy who's his actual weapon, and then there's this girl who I don't even know why she's in the plot, honestly. Maybe the manga has more for her to do later. But Noragami, no, I think it's skippable. I think Noragami's skippable. I think Hellsing, you just don't even watch it. And Dororo is also skippable, but better than Hellsing. Okay. Kabari of the Iron Fortress is also skippable. It's zombies on a train, which, you know, Train to Busan did better, so go watch that, I guess. Train to Busan isn't as anime, I assure you, but it is better than this weird fucking dumb train show. Berserk, really? I feel like nobody, obviously this is the older Berserk anime. I haven't watched the older Berserk anime, but I feel like no one recommends anyone watches Berserk at this point. Like, everyone's waiting for a Berserk adaptation that doesn't look like complete ass or isn't like ancient anymore. Because the newer ones, I watched like one episode and I was like, holy shit, like I can make a better anime than this. Like, legitimately, I know to use some 3D work. I'm not an amazing artist, but I can do better than that fucking shit. So I couldn't watch that. That was so bad. It looks so much like throw up that I couldn't even watch the next like episode. I remember just seeing like even the tree and the floor textures were just so wrong. Let alone the texture on the main character and what he looked like. Like, ugh. What an ugly fucking show the remake was. God Eater looks like this. That's like your first hint that maybe you shouldn't watch it. It's also a video game adaptation. That's another hint that maybe it's not worth watching. I remember I tried to watch it and I had to drop it because I was like, this is not working for me. I don't like any of these characters and I don't really understand what's happening, and I feel like all their outfits are like way too silly anime style for what's happening in the show. It's like, what if the guys from like Persona's 5 dressed like that, but we're in this like world where we have to fight giant monsters? I don't know. God Eater didn't work for me. Claymore's good. I like Claymore. The anime is mediocre and doesn't really end. Well, no, that's wrong to say. The anime is medium and it does end fine, but the manga is where to go with this one. Grimgar of Ashes is also fine. I guess you could claim it's about fighting monsters. It's not really about slaying monsters. That's just kind of like an aspect of the isekai video gamey kind of world. This is what they have to do to stay alive. It's really not about monster slaying. So it's kind of weird that's on here, but I do think it's a good show. Good enough show. Would watch more if it came out with more. I'm surprised to see this is a quote unquote about slaying monsters. I had no idea. By the look of it, I would have said it's about, I don't know, pseudo philosophy or some bullshit like that. So maybe it's good. I have no idea. Garo, the animation looks like throw up from here, so I'm gonna assume it's not that good. But I haven't watched it. But this is some fucking 3D right here. It looks terrible. We're still at a point where most anime companies do not know how to use 3D properly. You very rarely get good 3D in anime right now. Oh, that's that. I think I'm on... Oh, even more. No, that's it. Am I done? I think I've seen this one already. I mean, these are... Okay, this is be the last one. Get out of here. Alright, so this is going to be the best dark fantasy anime of all time ranked. Did I already do this? I don't remember. Whatever. I'm just going to take for granted and I just assume that these are actually dark shows, despite how some of them don't feel dark at all. Like Like, dark shit happens, but I don't think it's that dark. But yeah, no. I'm just gonna ignore that and assume, just go with the flow and say, yeah, Brotherhood, watch it, good. Berserk, I was saying it earlier, I feel like everyone's just waiting for a new good adaptation of Berserk more than the older ones are worth watching. Dororo, it's fine, but not really worth watching. Demon Slayer is pretty good. Attack on Titan's pretty good. Tokyo Ghoul's terrible. I don't understand people who really like Tokyo Ghoul. I feel like even in the first season, it's like you watch 12 episodes of nothing to see one good fight. Meanwhile, it's so just like edgy. Like, it's just like, look at me, look at all this blood splattering the screen, look at these bloody sound effects. Do you see any actual like gore visually? No, it's all implied, and that affects different people differently. To me, implied gore might as well not be happening. I think it makes it PG-13. But all the characters are also weird, and like the story is weird, and the setting is weird. Like, how is it possible that all these ghouls even exist and they'll just run the world? There's no way humans would have been able to fight these ghouls back in the past, and these ghouls have clearly existed forever. Also, I don't understand why these ghouls think they can be friends of humans. The only thing you can eat is humans. You cannot eat anything else or you get physically sick. Obviously, humans are not your friends. They're your food source. And to humans, you're not their friends. You're fucking monsters, for sure. And I think it's kind of funny that the show vilifies, like, the ghouls that want to eat humans, because, like, why shouldn't they want to eat humans? Why should that be, like, evil to them? Why? That's like when a lion eats an antelope. Is that lion evil? No, it's like literally the only thing that lion could eat is other animals or it dies. That's like these things. And you know, as I think as humans, the only thing we can do is fucking try and wipe out all the ghouls. What the hell? They're like so detrimental to us. That's the only thing we should try and do, and the only thing that we should have been trying to do for all of history. Ghouls aren't our friends. I understand Kaneki's problem. He used to be human, so now eating humans is kind of fucked up. That makes sense. But to everyone else, they're full of shit. So, you know, fuck Tokyo Ghoul. Everyone knows that the anime kind of ended terrible in the second season anyway, and then came back randomly for the third season. I don't know how that one went. I didn't watch that. The second one ended hilariously. There's all sorts of memes for that one about just like a dude taking like 20 minutes to walk from A to B, like 20 minutes of actual screen time. That's an exaggeration, but it was like 5 minutes. It wasn't good. Hellsing, bad. Nothing happens. Claymore's decent. Fate, depending on the Fates, pretty good. Most Fate series is kind of nonsense. But I did like the Fate Zero and Fate Zero Part 2. But Fate Stay Night, Fate Stay Unlimited Blade Works, not that great. The other one's probably, the one that's about movies is probably not that great. The one that's like Apocrypha is absolutely terrible. And there's other Fate stuff. They're all range from good to terrible, most of that being mediocre to terrible. Ajin didn't watch. One of my friends told me he did like it in the end, but you really have to accept the show looking like this. Like, you can't really see it in this picture because it's small, but it's some real bad 3D, some real novice 3D in this show, but maybe it's good, who knows? Not me. Man in the Abyss is fine. It's totally fine. There's some stuff you just have to accept about the show, like that the characters look like this and dress like this, and there's some stuff that happens that I guess people would find funny. I just think it's a little uncomfortable seeing happen to children, but I'm not even talking about the dark stuff. I'm talking about like one of this, like this girl gets like an enema. I'm like, why is this happening? But it's okay. It's okay essentially. It's not a bad series. I haven't seen this. I don't know. Looks dumb. XX Holic. I feel like nobody's watched this, and I'm not sure why people would want to watch this. 'Cause it's definitely not my kind of show. Something about her granting people's wishes or something like that. The only reason I really know about XXX Holic is because it ties into Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, which is just the most complicated, confusing, and all over the place story that there is. But like, this character plays a role in that story, and so does like the main boy of that story, because he's the reincarnation of Lee Shaoran being the guy from Card Captors, but also he's the protagonist of Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, but they're different Lee Shaorans, but they look the same and have the same name. And also, Sakura's part of the show, but she looks the same, but she's not the same Sakura, like from Card Captors, but also that Sakura's part of the show. And there's just a lot of that kind of thing happening, and they go from dimension to dimension and find like more kind of counterparts from like other worlds that are tangentially related, like the Clamp series. Like it's a lot. It's a lot, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. Kind of worth reading, but also it's a lot. It's confusing as shit. I'm not sure if it even makes sense in its ending, but I read it all and I thought it was alright. So maybe other people think it's better, even better than I think. So I'm usually a bit of a hard judge. Yeah, I like Shinsei Yuri. Sure, watch it. It's unique at least. It's different from the anime you've been watching probably, so it has that going for it. I don't know what this is. Looks bloody from this picture though. Magical girl anime. So maybe. Oh, and that's it. Alright, well that's my listing. This is my take on these takes, which was possibly negative. I don't remember. Don't go be mean to this person. In fact, don't even visit this site. You visit this site, you give this site more fucking credibility, and you're probably paying their bills, and maybe the site doesn't deserve it. Let me do it. Okay, bye.